everyone, my name is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am here to film a super exciting reading vlog. I am doing a collab with Michae from Oh Hey It's Michae. I will of course link her channel down in the description below. So I decided to propose this idea to Michae because when we were in Atlanta with a bunch of other romance booktubers, I realized that like Michae and I have a very similar vibe, like as people. I don't know if she feels the same way. I haven't told her this, but like I feel like we both have a very chill vibe as people. Like we kind of like both go with the flow, and like, I don't know, she's just such a cool person. I've been watching her content for a while, and so I kind of already knew this, but I guess I realized that we tend to gravitate towards polar opposite romance subgenres. She tends to read more like darker, taboo, contemporary romances, where I tend to gravitate towards historical romances, whether they be rom-coms or more serious. And so I thought it would be a really fun idea if we read some of each other's favorite books in our favorite genres. So she is going to read pretty much my top 3 favorite historical romances, and I'm going to read some of her absolute favorite darker, taboo, more forbidden contemporary romances. So I am super excited going into this vlog. I have already started one of the books, which is Medicine Man by Saffron A. Kent. I have read a book by this author before, which was The Unrequited. I love that book with my whole heart. I gave it 5 stars when I read it a couple years back. That book is like written for sad white girls who love Lana Del Rey. So this one though definitely has a different vibe for sure. And actually one of the other books that I'm gonna read for this vlog seems to have a bit of a similar vibe to this as well. So this is a longer romance, as well as one of the other books I'm going to read in this vlog. I'm reading 3 books, by the way, in total. This one, according to Goodreads, has 516 pages, at least the paperback does. And this definitely needs to be a slow burn romance, because this is a romance between Taylor, who is 18. She is a patient at a psychiatric rehab facility, and Simon, who is a doctor at said facility. He is 33. So this definitely needs to be slow burn for the romance to make sense. But the basic premise is that Taylor, like I said, she's 18. She has had some kind of mental breakdown and some kind of accident or suicide attempt happened. We don't really know what happened yet, which makes sense. For a book this long, it seems like we're not really gonna know the full story until towards the end. Simon, he is basically the main doctor of this rehab facility for like a temporary amount of time, because the usual doctor had a sudden heart attack, so Simon is filling in for him. And so it's really interesting so far. Something that I'm really appreciating is that they did not have an immediate attraction to each other or interest in each other. I feel like their interest was more of like just a curiosity, and we haven't gotten very much of Simon's POV yet. I hope that we get more from him, because I really would like to know more about his mindset. But definitely Taylor, she's just been very curious and kind of fascinated by him as a person. And so now Simon wants to have more regular therapy sessions with her, even though that's not usually how it's done, because Taylor already has a therapist. I probably won't be able to read much of this until later this afternoon, because in about an hour I am leaving to go to work. So today is Friday, and today is dress rehearsal day for a production of Camp Rock the musical that I am music directing. This is a production that the music and dance studio that I work for is putting on. So we have dress rehearsal this afternoon, and then tomorrow evening is the performance. So I'll see if I can get some like behind the scenes clips or something like that. I might insert some into this vlog, but I'm also not making any guarantees. We will just have to see if I have the opportunity, right? So yeah, I'm gonna go eat something so I'm not hungry during work, and I will talk to you guys later. I might give another update today. It's possible that I could finish this tonight, so we will just have to see. everybody. I have quite the update for you guys, both reading update and otherwise. So after work yesterday, I tried to come home, but we got a ton, and I mean a ton of rain yesterday. And so my street floods sometimes. And so I went to turn into my street to come home, and my street literally looked like a river. And so I decided to take the opportunity to go to Barnes & Noble. So that's why there was a clip of me at Barnes & Noble. I would have liked to have gotten more clips there, but there were actually a lot of people shopping there yesterday. And so I get really uncomfortable about filming when there's a lot of people walking around. So yeah, I got quite the little stack of books here. I actually was also taking the opportunity to go to my local Barnes & Noble because I hadn't been there since like before COVID, and I was really interested to see like how they had like rearranged the store, and I wanted to see if they had any book talk tables. Of course they did. I even saw a couple of women in the romance aisle with me, and they were specifically talking about like the Colleen Hoover books and like Twisted Lies by Anna Huang, like, you know, the very popular book talk romances at the moment, at least. So I found that very funny. I also wanted to take the opportunity to look through their graphic novels, comics, and manga section. I was really interested to see what they have in stock at my Barnes & Noble. They have like a huge section, especially of manga. Like it was like 2 aisles worth of manga, which I think is a lot. And then there was a huge aisle of like comics and graphic novels and stuff. So yeah, I've just been getting more and more into reading comics and manga lately, so I wanted to look at that as well. But yeah, I'll just quickly show you guys what I got. I actually got my pre-order of Heat Wave by TJ Klune. This is the 3rd and final book in the Extraordinary series, which is a YA superhero trilogy, basically about like LGBTQ plus superheroes, which is really fun. And this also has like a reverse side to the dust jacket. So this is the normal side, which I just showed you guys, and then on the flip side, this is so cool. This is what the flip side looks like, and all 3 of the books in this series have like this reverse dust jacket thing going on, which I think is really fun. Then in terms of what I got at Barnes & Noble yesterday, I got a copy of A Matter of Temptation by Stacey Reed. I've been hearing nothing but phenomenal things about this book since it came out. I have no clue what it's about, but I don't need to know because I trust my friends' opinions, and I really enjoy Stacey Reed's books. Also, this cover is stunning. Purple is my favorite color, and I love how her like pinkish reddish dress looks against the purple background. That is just beautiful. I also got a copy of The Widow of Rose House by Diana Biller. This is a gothic historical romance with a cinnamon roll hero. That's really all that I know about this book. But I've been dying to read this. I'll probably save this for like spooky season though, since it's like a gothic romance. And then my last historical romance I got is Up All Night with a Good Duke by Amy Rose Bennett. I've heard really good things about this one. This one is a pretty recent release. I actually have an e-arc of this from NetGalley, and my hold on the audiobook is coming in soon from my Libby app, so I will definitely read that soon. And then I got 2 paperbacks. They were having a sale. Let's see, buy one, get one 50% off. I don't know if this was all regular paperbacks or just certain ones. So with that sale, I got Wicked Beauty by Katie Robert. This is book 3 in her Dark Olympus series. This matches my background light really well. I'm just now realizing that. But yeah, this is my favorite installment of the series so far. This was so, so good. And then with that sale, I also got a copy of The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. This is Ashley Poston's, I believe, her first adult romance novel. I've read her YA series, which are fairy tale retellings set around like a Comic-Con like convention, and I really enjoyed that series. So I'm looking forward to checking out her first adult romance. Lisa from Remarkably Lisa really, really loved this book. Why don't we go ahead and jump into my thoughts on Medicine Man by Saffron A. Kent. So I read like the first 25%, you know, in my last update, and then I read a good chunk of it yesterday as well, and then I read like the entire second half of it this morning slash today, and I did not love it. On Goodreads, I put a 3-star rating, but I think it's more of a 2.5 stars, maybe even a 2 stars, because as I'm reflecting on this book, I'm realizing that there's not much that I truly enjoyed about this book other than the pacing. I thought that this book was really well paced. I flew through the audiobook, and like I told you guys, this is like a 500-page book. And the fact that I flew through it as quickly as I did, I feel like just shows you how well it was paced. And I liked the writing well enough. Like I said, I've read a book by this author before, and I absolutely loved that book. That was The Unrequited. So I did go into this with some pretty high expectations because I loved that book. And overall, there's just a lot that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I think I'm gonna start with the two main characters themselves. We have Taylor, our heroine. She's 18 years old. She's in the psychiatric rehab facility. Here's my thing with Taylor. Her whole personality, and I mean her entire personality, at least like 90% of her personality is about how much she loves Harry Potter. Need I say more? Like literally 90% of her personality is about how much she loves the books. And she wears t-shirts every day with different like quotes about Harry Potter, like little puns and things like that. I'm just like, girl, really? I also felt like she was written, to me, she read a little bit younger than 18. I would have placed her as being about 16, 17. Which makes the romance even more yikes with Simon, who's a 33-year-old psychiatrist. And then we have Simon, our hero. He's so just like icy, cold, closed off emotionally. And I really don't love those heroes unless they like really open up. And I feel like Simon really never truly opened up until the very end, I guess. But then by then, for me, it felt like it was too late for him to be emotionally vulnerable with Taylor. Like, it just rubbed me the wrong way, the way that he kept pushing her away emotionally. And like, sometimes he was a straight up asshole to her. Like, I felt bad for her, the way that he treated her throughout the book. And I will say, at least she called him out on it when he tried to like apologize and grovel at the end. But I did not like that. I also didn't love some of the things he would say to her, like specifically during their sex scenes. Some of the dialogue was very yikes, especially like the things he would say specifically during those scenes. And I was thinking to myself while reading those scenes, if a man said some of those things to me, I might just leave the room. Like, that's how kind of yikes it was. I also wish we would have gotten more of his POV. I feel like we only got like maybe 4 chapters of his POV. I needed more of his point of view because I needed to know his motivations. I needed to know more of what he was thinking, and we just don't get enough of that throughout the book. Also, in general, I could have just used more character development about both Simon and Taylor, which is crazy because this is a 500-page book. There's more than enough page time for you to develop your two main characters, and I feel like we just didn't get enough development. Also, speaking of like yikes things going on in this book, the amount of times that I had to read the word cream and creamy, way too much, way too much. Like at least 500 times I had to read that word. Please stop. Like, why? And at the end of the day, I feel like their relationship was more codependency and obsession than love. I did not for 1 second believe that these two people truly, truly loved each other, nor do I think that these two people will truly live happily ever after. I don't see this couple lasting beyond maybe a few years or something like that. And the epilogue is like 5 years into the future. And even 5 years, I feel like, is stretching it in terms of how long this couple would last. I just did not believe it, guys. Simon was very off-putting to me because of how icy and how much of an asshole he was, and I understand why he was the way that he was. He's got trauma in his past, as we all do. But he was not very likable, and Taylor was just fine. There were times where I liked her, and then times where I was just kind of annoyed with her. And times where I felt like she read younger than 18. So that, again, made the romance more yikes. Michae, don't take offense to this, that I didn't love this book. I still have very high hopes for the other 2 books that I have picked for this vlog. I'll get to those books when I get to them. I'll probably do another update maybe tomorrow, most likely the day after. It just depends on when I pick up another one of these books, because one of them is like a 600-page book, but I have an audiobook for it. And then the other one is about like 250 pages, but there is no audiobook for it. So I just have to kind of be in the mood for both of these books that I have picked. Right, it is Sunday, the next day. It's 10:30 p.m. right now, and I have started my next book for this vlog, which is Always Been You by QB Tyler. So when Michae and I were chatting about the books that we were going to read for this vlog, she gave me a list of 5 books that I could choose from. And this one definitely stood out amongst the 5 books that she gave me. First of all, I have read a book by QB Tyler before. By the way, she writes mainly forbidden, taboo contemporary romances. And that was Forget Me Not, which is a marriage in trouble, second chance romance. I loved that book. I loved her writing. And so I was definitely really intrigued and really excited going into this. So this is like the ultimate forbidden romance, because we have James and Gabrielle, who are adopted siblings. And so James's parents adopted Gabrielle when she was 2 years old. He was 13 at the time, so there is an age gap as well of about 11 years. So obviously this is taboo in that they're not blood relatives, but they are siblings in every other way that counts. And they have both been in love with each other for quite a few years, and that means that James was even in love with Gabrielle when she was under 18. So there's definitely a lot of taboo and forbidden elements to this. And oh my God, I am obsessed. I am 38% of the way through right now. This is actually a pretty short book. I want to say it's about like 250 pages. And the steamy scenes start happening pretty early on in the book, which I feel like makes sense for the story, because I feel like we needed the two of them to confess their feelings for each other early on, so that the bulk of the book can be more about them keeping everything secret, especially from their family members. And, you know, how are they going to live a life together when, like I said, they're siblings in every way that counts. Yeah, I love this. The writing is fantastic in my opinion. I really like these two main characters. James, hot. Like, wow. And the steamy scenes that we've had so far in this are chef's kiss. Like, Michae was not exaggerating when I remember when she reviewed this book in a wrap-up of hers, and she was just talking about how hot it was, and like, I agree, this book is pretty sexy, and I can already tell you that I highly recommend it. Yes, it's very, very taboo, but QB Tyler really makes it work. You know, I feel like some authors can't make an adopted sibling's romance work the way that QB Tyler does. There is just something about these two characters, the way their story is going, the chemistry between the two of them. I mean, it's kind of heart-wrenching the way that these two have loved each other as brother and sister, and then as the years have gone by, that love has turned into something romantic. And I'm so glad that I'm reading this for this vlog, because I probably would not have picked it up otherwise, mainly because there's no audiobook for it yet. So I am reading just the book version. It's on Kindle Unlimited. All of QB Tyler's books are on Kindle Unlimited as far as I know. So yeah, I'm super excited to jump back into this, and now I need to read even more from QB Tyler. So I'll probably message Michae, I'll probably message Jess as well for their like top QB Tyler recommendations, because they are both huge fans of her works, and now I totally understand why. All right, hey everyone, it is Monday night. It is just about 9:40. It feels later than that for some reason, but I am getting ready to film a couple videos, which is why my hair and makeup is all done. And I finished Always Been You by QB Tyler. I'm giving this 5 stars, and absolutely no one is surprised. I think you guys could tell in my last update that I was really, really loving this book, and the second half definitely did not disappoint. I am obsessed with QB Tyler's writing. I was rooting for this couple when I probably shouldn't have been because of how taboo it is. I just love like how intense their romance was. Like, in my opinion, this couple, like, they are soulmates, and I don't say that very often with romance novels, but Gabrielle and James to me are definitely endgame. Like, they are definitely a couple that I think will actually live happily ever after. Something I have to say about James that I feel like I forgot to mention in my last update is I adore how possessive and obsessive he is about Gabrielle. Like, as soon as they get together, he is just the most possessive of her, and like, we love that. Maybe not in real life, but we love that in romance novels. I really loved this. Michae, thank you for this recommendation. If you guys have recommendations for books that you feel like I would really love by QB Tyler, definitely leave them in the comments below. I definitely want to read more from her backlist. So my third and final book for this vlog is going to be Sweet Dandelion by Michae Meltzer. I am so excited for this book. I know that this is one of Michae's absolute all-time favorites, so I was really happy to see this on the list that she supplied for me when picking out the books for this vlog. And I'll get into the synopsis when I actually start reading it, but I feel like this does, just based off of what I know about this book, it kind of has a similar vibe to Medicine Man, in that I'm pretty sure there's an age gap, and like the heroine is like 18 and the hero is quite a bit older, and he is her therapist of some kind. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how this all plays out. I've been wanting to check out this author for a while, so I'm glad that I am finally doing so. So yeah, I will give you an update when I actually start this book. It's Wednesday, my dudes. Correction, it's Thursday, my dudes. It's just a little past midnight. So I have a reading update. I am currently in the middle of Sweet Dandelion by Michae Meltzer. I am exactly 30% of the way through at the moment. This is quite the chunky book. I think it's about 600 pages, maybe a little bit more than that. And I am listening to the audiobook while following along with the ebook, and the audiobook is, I think it's almost like 16 hours, something like that. I am loving this. I'm just gonna say that right off the bat. But let me tell you guys what this book is about, because we definitely have a lot going on. So first things first, this is a very heavy story, for sure. We have our main character, Dandelion. She goes by Danny. She went through a school shooting and lost her mother in that shooting. And I think that happened, I think, just about a year before the story starts, or the book starts. So literally the first page of this book is her mother dying in her arms. So yes, this is very, very heavy. You know, definitely look up all of the content warnings, but obviously discussions of a shooting would be the main content warning. Of course, also loss of a parent. And Dani was also injured in the shooting. She was shot in her leg, one of her legs. And so for a while, she actually couldn't walk. I think she was paralyzed for a while. And through like physical therapy, she's now able to walk, but she has a significant limp in one of her legs. And so now her brother Sage is her guardian, and I think they must have moved away from, I think they were from the Portland area. And so now they're living, I want to say, is that Salt Lake City? Can't quite remember. But they live in a different city now. They live in a condo together. And so now Dani has to go to a completely new high school. So to help with her healing process, she spends a 50-minute period every single day of the week with the school counselor, whose name is Lachlan. And so this is a romance between Dani and Lachlan, her school counselor. So of course that is the taboo element that we have going on here. There are so many things that I am obsessed with this book at the moment. Why don't we start with the different relationships going on? So I adore her relationship with her brother Sage. Like literally every interaction they have, I'm tearing up for one reason or another. Sage is just dealing with a lot because not only is he Dani's older brother, but he's now her guardian. And so he's grappling with how to balance those two pretty different roles in her life. And he's also in a job that he kind of hates. And so they have a conversation pretty early on where Dani's like, just quit your job, take some time off to find a better situation for you. You know, we have mom's life insurance money. And he immediately shoots her down and he says that it's blood money. And like that scene like stabbed me in the gut. Oh my God. Like him saying it was blood money. Oh my God. And yeah, I love their dynamic because yes, there's these heavier moments between the two of them that make me like die inside. But they also have a loving like brother-sister relationship, and they joke around and stuff, and they're really cute at the same time because they go and take a cooking class together. Then we have her friends at school. She's made a couple of pretty close friends, one of them being Ansel. I love him to pieces. Like he must be protected at all costs. I love him. She also has a friend, Sasha, that she's gotten closer and closer to. And then we have Lachlan, of course. I adore this man. I couldn't help but compare this book to Medicine Man because there is that similar dynamic of the hero being older and being a therapist of some kind, and the heroine being 18 and having gone through something traumatic. And what this book does right that Medicine Man did wrong, in my eyes, is the fact that Lachlan isn't an asshole. He's a nice guy. He is a really great counselor. The way that he talks and relates to Dani. And I also love that they've started bonding over books. Like he's been lending her books from his own personal library, and they discuss them during their sessions. And it's, you know, it's still pretty early on in the book. So she is not very willing to open up to Lachlan, or to her brother for that matter, about what really happened that day during the shooting. But yeah, I love the dynamic between Lachlan and Dani right now. And I love that, yes, she's had somewhat romantic thoughts and feelings towards him, but there is no romance between them yet. Like there's inklings of something, but I like that, you know, this is such a long book, and I like that we're taking our time developing this relationship between the two of them. It makes me root for them all the more. I feel like that was another problem I had with Medicine Man. Sorry that I keep comparing the two, but like I said, there's similarities between them. But that was another thing with Medicine Man, was that the romance I felt like started a bit too early, because that book is also 500 pages. I felt like it started too early, and I felt like it started too abruptly, where I feel like this book is really just striking a great balance between Dani's character development and inklings of a romance and relationships that she has with other characters. And I also love that this is kind of the best of both, like the YA genre and the adult romance genre. Like, I feel like I'm getting vibes of both of those kinds of stories in this one book. Like, I feel like this would be an amazing book to read if you are someone that reads mostly YA contemporaries and you want to transition to more adult romances. Yeah, I'm absolutely loving this. I am about to just dive back into this, at least for like another hour or so before I go to bed tonight. But I wanted to stop myself before I got too far into the book so that I could give you guys some of my more like initial thoughts. So yeah, with all that being said, I will probably talk to you guys at some point tomorrow. So it's still Thursday. It's almost 11 p.m. and my last update was technically Thursday as well, because it was after midnight. I just finished Sweet Dandelion like 3 minutes ago. So you guys are getting my immediate thoughts for sure. So, oh boy, this book is a journey. Oh my goodness. You know, it's 600 pages and like you go through so much with Dani and with all these other characters. And I think overall I'm gonna give it a 4.5 stars. Because I have two kind of small reasons for this, but they hindered my enjoyment enough to make me lower my rating a bit. First of all, I think the pacing and the story dragged in the last 20%. In this chunk of the book, in this last chunk of the book, it focuses a lot on Dani's own character development. I mean, the entire book focuses on that to some degree for sure, but this last chunk like solely focuses on that, and I know that it needed to happen to make her and Lachlan's romance and relationship truly work and make sense, but it still just dragged for me. I don't know. I feel like that could have been edited down a bit. Another reason I'm gonna give this 4.5 stars, this is a kind of a stupid reason, but this is something that bothers me as a romance reader. I am not a big fan when the couple gets together and we don't get a sex scene of them after they've made up and gotten back together, and that happens in this book. And for as long as this book is, I definitely expected there to be at least one more sex scene, and there isn't. That just isn't the focus of this romance, you know? This definitely isn't an erotic romance by any means. So yeah, that was just like a little nitpicky thing, but it is something that bothers me. So because of those couple of reasons, I am lowering it a bit to 4.5 stars. However, there is so much to love about this book. You know, most of my thoughts and opinions have not changed since my previous update. I love the characters in this. I love their journey. I've come to realize over the past few years that I think I do enjoy more character-driven stories like this than books that are more plot-driven. I love complex characters that I can just fall in love with and root for. And yeah, I love interesting characters, and that's definitely what this book has. I also just want to quickly mention that I really like how this relationship played out. I liked the pacing of it. I liked that there was a good chunk of this book where they kind of got together and then they took a step back and separated romantically. Yeah, I just thought that this was very well written as well. I'm definitely looking forward to reading more from Michae Smelser. Did this book need to be quite as long as it was? Maybe not. Maybe it could have been edited down a bit, but I do think it needed to be at least like 400 to 500 pages, because like I said, this is a character driven book. We really needed to develop Dani's character and her healing process, and then the romance between her and Lachlan, and then all the other characters and things like that. Do Michae and I have similar reading tastes? I think in some ways we do, because I've kind of looked at her Goodreads and books that we've both read, and a lot of the time we seem to mostly agree on the ratings that we give books. Now, I don't usually gravitate towards taboo contemporary romances like she does, but I think I realized too through reading these last 3 books, I think sometimes taboo romances stress me out because I can't help but feel kind of anxious the whole time that the couple's gonna get caught or something like that. So sometimes that kind of gets in the way of my enjoyment of the romance itself. So I think maybe that's why I stay away from taboo romances, but that's not to say that I don't still enjoy them. I mean, I've read quite a few of them at this point, and I'll definitely be taking more of Michae's recommendations from now on after doing this vlog. So that is everything. I am super excited to watch Michae's vlog. I will probably link it either up in the cards or down in the description. I had her read my like top 3 favorite historical romances of all time, and I cannot wait to see what she thinks of those books. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I would love it if you would leave a comment down below if you want to discuss any of these books that I brought up, or if you want to give me recommendations maybe for some taboo romances, something like that. I'm definitely intrigued, and I definitely want to read more of them in the future. And with all of that being said, I would love it if you would leave a like and subscribe, and I thank you so much in advance if you do, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!